Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another Marine ECM, this time coming from North Carolina. This is Jim. It's a 1998 5.7 liter MERC cruiser, MEFI 1, and his concerns are that the boat doesn't start with the computer plugged in, but if they wiggle the connector, it starts. And as far as they know that he's sending here, they said that they replaced the pins on the harness, so they think it's the connector in the computer, which I've never seen it, so we'll see if that is the case. I mean, it's always the first time, right? So, but I have the computer connected and running. So let me show you that. So this is the computer. As you see, I have to do a little bit of a change on the layout on my desk, trying to clear it up and get myself access to the things that I really need the most. Also to get data meter where I can see what I'm doing the test, because I was having it on this side. So I moved things around for that reason. So if you see or notice a little bit of a difference, not too much, right? All right, so let's see what we have. So we have a computer running. We have the fuel pump lights in here on the load box. For those that are new in the channel, that is the simulator to inject the signals from the sensors and also to provide the powers and grounds on these connections that I have made, so it's easier for me to connect each harness for each connector, for each computer, sorry. This is the ignition module, the one in charge to run the coil, and I have also the wires from the computer. The computer is in control of the ground side of the injector, so this will be instead of the injectors and instead of the coil. This other tool that you see here is an oscilloscope, so we will be able to see those voltages being represented as a graph in the screen, and you will see that shortly. In this computer is in control also the fuel pump relay positive side, so it provides the power to the relay to control the pump, to control the relay, to close the relay, and then the relay will provide the power to the pump. But it's a positive side, which is very uncommon, but I mean, it's 1998, right? So, because the new setup across pretty much all the manufacturers is ground control on relays. So this is very odd, but again, it's very old style thing. On the simulator here, I also have signals that I can see immediately, and that's why I put it in that position, because it's very easy on my eyes to work quickly, see if it's something changed. This light in here is the sensor ground. This kind of like yellow-orange color is the 5-volt reference, and it will only come on if we have a steady 5-volt reference. These two lights in here is the IAC valve, and it will change if I change the throttle and the RPM. So let me make sure that is, well, this is actually a MEFI 1, so it might need to be on higher RPMs. We'll see that in the actual capture. So the light that I was going to show you here, the two green lights that you see on, well, the red lights are just powers that I have also here in ground. So disregard those. The ones that I'm showing you, covering with my hand, the two green ones that are flickering are injector bank A and injector bank B. And then the blue one, which looks almost steady, is the co-firing, and it's almost steady because it's firing 8 times per engine revolution. The injectors are firing, 4 times per engine revolution. So that is a bit of a difference in there. All right, let's go over to the Diacom. Let me actually put those. Yeah, I have it running. So let me just make it big so you can see those in your screen as well. All right, so this is the Diacom. Yeah, as you can see down in there, and I'm going to put the Microscopic, which I have to select 1 second. All right, so in there, the blue channel is injector bank A, and the red channel is injector bank B. The green is the coil. Let me just make sure. Yeah, because it looks like sometimes it goes offline when I'm recording. Not sure why it's doing that, but sometimes it does it. So just connect it and reconnect it. Sometimes that's the trick. We'll see. Looks like it's not seeing the Microscopic. Give me 1 second, guys, to fix that up. All right, now it's back connected, so we can see the signal working a little bit on the screen. If I increase the RPMs, we're going to see more and more of those signals being generated. But what that means, the computer is running. So the computer is running, and we can see that in there, and that's the reason I put those signals for you to see a representation of what we see. You see how now the greens are looking like almost steady? Well, because we're in a higher RPM. If I put, one of the data pit at least RPM, let me just select that one. So you can see that one from the distance right here. Let me move that there, and now select it for you to see. And that now you see we are in 2,000 and some hundred RPMs, 2,300. But the computer is running. That's what it, like reading his notes. Not sure if I actually have shown you that. I sometimes goes into my tunnel of thought, and I forget about showing you the information. So let me take you over to the information, because I don't think I have shown you that. Yeah, I don't think I did. So let me move this out of the way 1 second, guys. And let's read the notes in here. I'm going to close that one 1 second. It says, "Hi, Mike. So this is a MEFI 1 from 1998, Mercruiser 5.7, 260 HP EFI. My mechanic said if he wiggles around the connection, it starts. He replaced the pins on the harness." Jim from North Carolina. And he also sent me an email, which I also took a picture of that, so we can read that here. And it says, "Hi Mike, thanks for the conversation the other day. Please keep an eye on the computer. It should arrive Tuesday. As I mentioned, my mechanic thinks the problem is in the connection. As when it's just plugged in, it won't start, but if he wiggles it, it starts right up. Please check it out and let me know what you think. Jim." And that's all the information that I have, except, I have safe captures, the history before I connected, or no, when I first connected, sorry. It was absolutely no fault codes, no codes to go by, nothing. So it's a little hard to help when it's nothing to go by, especially with such a minimal information. But let's go back to here. I'm going to now put the Diacom and the Pico and the RPM, so we can see if the computer dies, right? Okay, you can see that there. I'm going to bring the computer or the running to idle, which is around 650 RPMs. Give me just 1 second, because I want to try that wiggle test that he said right at idle. Because if you have high RPMs, it might catch and does not stall because of that. But we're not really getting his concern. His concern is like this: if I connect it and don't touch it, it will not run. Well, right here I have injectors and I have coils, so it's completely already not happening. But either way, I want to wiggle. You can see that I am not going easy, because these connections that I have are brand new. So, but you can see, are we missing any injector or coil at any second? No. Is the fuel pump turning on or off? Sorry, turn it off? No. And these are, it's the reason I don't believe it's an issue in there is, let me show you a picture of this computer. I'm going to go over to my folder where I have plenty of these computers open. Let me get one. It doesn't have too much information because I don't want to show that. Let me move you over to my view. You see this is exactly this computer with the cover removed. So again, this the portion that you're seeing in there, I just removed from the equation the actual view of the outside, and I'm showing you the board. But this is exactly what I want to show you, because in this computer, what we have is on each side the connector. So in here we have all the components and everything. As you see on each side, we got like those gold connections and jumpers. So jumpers are going to the ones will connect the pins that you see from the actual connector over to the computer. So the only way that something as what Jim described will happen if one of the jumpers is broken, because even if it is pin, let's say it's loose inside, which I already checked them out and they're not. But let's say, we have one loop that we can wiggle, it will have to rip that jumper completely in order to not have connection to the actual board. You see what I mean? So it's pretty much impossible for this to create an issue unless these jumpers, again, let me just get a zoom into a portion of that so you can understand what I'm talking about. These right here, see those gold legs that you see on the right side now are the pins, and then it's inside the connector on the computer is a pin. The terminal inside the connector of the harness is the female that will receive the pin. So it's not a hollow pin. It's a solid pin that goes through the plastic. And the only way that will create something like that is if the pin is completely loose and it has ripped that jumper. But then it's no way that can be reconnected. You know what I mean? Because once this jumper break, there is no way to reconnect. It will have to be resoldered, repair, and that uses and requires a special tool that I have to work in those here. So we don't have that here. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you. I went to have actually coffee, and I came back, and the computer is still running good. I have one full code I haven't shown you, and this is only for the knock sensor. Code 43, electronic spark control malfunction. That's just because I don't have the knock sensor connected that is part of this system. A little weird thing. I can show you here on the running time. This computer has been running for the 30. 1 second to get you in there. Come on. 31 minutes and 67 seconds. So, and this is actually in tenths of a minutes, or in tenths, not in regular. I don't know what they do that in these computers, but that's how Delphi did it. But yeah, this is running good. So let me turn it off. Just turn the the crankshaft position sensor signal off for the RPM. So let me just show you the RPM pit, which is now reading 0, obviously. I'm going to turn the ignition off. You can see how the IAC went low in the 5-volt reference, so we lost those signals. Obviously, the computer is now completely asleep. And I'm going to turn the ignition back on. Fuel pump prime, and it's doing it correctly. We got the IAC now red and green, which means it's just in a different position. And let me inject the crankshaft position sensor signal. And it runs instantly. And I can put the Microscope back into the screen that you can see that all the signals, injectors, and coils are present. So Jim, I'm not sure exactly what could be the problem, but it's definitely not in here. I'm going to actually get you in on the microscope so we can get the connections, to see the connections in the view, just to show you that they look good and I don't see anything wrong in there. So let me just put the camera on the microscope and I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, I got the computer disconnected. I'm just going to show you now here on the microscope. So let me move the view over to that. All right, so this is, so you can see that this is Jim. And I'm going to put the pins in here. Again, I'm going to use just a tweezer just to show you, again, the pins in here. These are, the only way that these pins can really become loose, it will be if this part will be melted. And you can see that that is not the case in here. Let me try to get this to focus a little more. Yeah, that's perfect. But we can see that all that is looking nice and no burns, no marks. Let's take a look at the other side. And as you can see, these connections and these pins look like brand new. Just to show you sideways a little bit so you can see they're kind of like golded color. All the pins looks nice. And these connection or connectors in the computer are fixed to the case. So this is not like they wiggle. This is a solid. Let me just show you in this view. This is solid. This is nothing, like I said, that you can bend or lose. The pins will have to be melted, and it's not the case. So again, Jim, there's nothing I can really see wrong as far as your concerns. So this is just a test. Guys, I hope that you like the content, and at least you see the clarity and transparency of my Salazar diagnostics when I'm doing a test for a customer. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.